Coronation Street viewers believe a key Corriedale moment has confirmed Carl's dramatic downfall. ITV soap fans were treated to a surprise festive bonus on Monday night as Emmerdale and Coronation Street joined forces for the high-octane Corriedale crossover. Packed with chaos, the episode delivered Billy Mayhew's devastating death and exposed Carl Webster's ruthless decision to pin his drink-driving offense on his half-sister Debbie, setting a dark tone for the start of 2026. Although Carl was at the center of the horrific crash that left several people injured and dead, the Weatherfield schemer attempted to cover his tracks by dragging an unconscious Debbie into the driver's seat, making it appear she had been behind the wheel. However, eagle-eyed fans are convinced his lies won't hold after spotting a crucial clue many viewers initially overlooked. Posting on the Coronation Street Reddit forum, one viewer pointed out, "Watching the episode before Corriedale again, I noticed that both Michael and Daniel actually saw Carl driving with Debbie in the car. Could this be how the truth finally comes out?" Others quickly added their own theories, with one fan suggesting, "Ronnie is bound to notice the seatbelt bruising." Another commented, "The doctors would definitely record where her injuries were, so it's only a matter of time." Monday's installment also revealed that Carl had an undiagnosed heart condition, which caused him to go into shock following the collision. Earlier scenes showed Kevin wrestling with the possibility of ending his brother's life support after discovering Carl's secret affair with Abby. When Carl later regained consciousness, Kevin tried to insist that Carl had been the driver, but Debbie shut him down, saying, "I've already explained what happened. I'm not doing this again. I know you despise Carl, but this is on me, not him. Now just leave." Instead of walking away, Kevin stormed back to Carl's hospital room, desperate for answers. Carl then mocked Kevin for failing to pull the plug, sneering, "You couldn't do it, could you? I'm still breathing." Kevin shot back coldly, "For now, we'll see how long that lasts." The tense exchange sent fans flooding social media with grim predictions about Carl's fate, with some fearing Kevin could snap. One viewer wrote, "Does anyone else secretly want Kevin to finish Carl off with a spanner from the garage after what he did to Debbie?" Another added, "I need Kevin to lose it and kill Carl with his own hands once he realizes Carl framed Debbie and left her for dead." Coronation Street spoiler. Megan collapses emotionally in a public place. Leanne and Eva are taken aback when they stumble across Megan in Victoria Garden, openly weeping and clearly struggling to hold herself together, leaving them wondering what has pushed her to breaking point. As they gently try to comfort her, the question remains, will Megan finally open up and reveal what's really going on? Later on at the bistro, Daniel expresses his gratitude to Megan for kindly taking Bertie to school, before confessing that his feelings for her are growing deeper by the day, hinting that their relationship may be heading in a new direction. Meanwhile, David and Shona beam with pride as they dote on baby Harper, but the happy moment is abruptly shattered when a piercing alarm suddenly rings out. Moments later, a doctor delivers devastating news, explaining that Harper urgently requires a blood transfusion. Overcome with fear, David and Shona hold on to one another, terrified for their daughter's life as panic sets in. Elsewhere on the street, Ronnie walks into the cafe and unintentionally overhears Mary and Asha talking about the recent crash. Visibly shaken, Ronnie interrupts to say how deeply remorseful Debbie is about everything that has happened, before quickly leaving, his distress impossible to hide. At the Undertaker's, the mood turns unbearably heavy as an ambulance arrives carrying Billy's body. Summer is completely overwhelmed by grief and collapses in tears, while Todd stays by her side, offering comfort as best he can during the heartbreaking moment. Later, out on the street, Summer's sorrow turns to fury when she spots Debbie laughing and joking with Ronnie, unable to comprehend how they can appear so carefree. In a final twist, Eva puts forward a bold idea, suggesting that Leanne should sell her stake in Speed Doll and instead invest in buying Maggie's share of the Rovers, potentially setting the stage for a major business shakeup. Coronation Street confirms David and Shona's baby name in touching on-screen moment. Coronation Street delivered an emotional scene for David and Shona Platt in the aftermath of the devastating Corriedale pileup. During the latest episode, viewers watched as Shona underwent a complex medical procedure to safely deliver her baby, who had earlier been diagnosed with a serious tumor. Ahead of the surgery, a restless David struggled to get any sleep and headed out at dawn to visit Bernie Winter Allahan for a quiet cup of tea. While the pair spoke about the heartbreaking death of Billy Mayhew in the crash, their conversation was awkwardly interrupted by a stranger entering the cafe. The man made an uncomfortable assumption about Billy's sexuality after reading about the vicar's passing in the newspaper, prompting an icy response from a clearly unimpressed Bernie. David's morning continued to unravel as his taxi failed to arrive, forcing him to drive himself to the hospital despite still recovering from a concussion. Things went from bad to worse when, upon arriving in the car park, the same man from the cafe brazenly took David's parking space. In a surprising twist, the stranger was revealed to be Vincent Harper, the specialist consultant assigned to operate on both Shona and her baby. It emerged that Harper had traveled all the way from Bristol to perform the procedure on his own birthday, after the couple's usual doctor was stranded in Lithuania due to a canceled flight. Thankfully, the surgery was a success, although Harper was required to carry out a temporary tracheostomy on the newborn. The baby was then transferred to the neonatal intensive care unit, where she would remain until she was strong enough to undergo tumor removal. Later, David and Harper shared a brief but sincere conversation, with both men apologizing for their earlier confrontation in the car park. Despite the challenges ahead, Harper expressed cautious confidence about the baby's recovery, explaining, "There's still a long journey ahead, but so far the outcome is very encouraging." During their chat, Harper mentioned that it was his birthday, prompting David to react in disbelief. "You share a birthday with her? You're joking." David then joked that his daughter had big shoes to fill. When David and Shona were finally reunited with their baby, David gently asked his wife whether she had chosen a name. Although Shona hesitated, worried about tempting fate, David reassured her, insisting he was certain their daughter would pull through. Confidently, David revealed his idea, Harper. He explained that the name suited her perfectly, imagining Harper Platt as someone brave enough to run through fire for the people she loves. Moved by his words, Shona smiled and agreed, saying that she loved the name and that their daughter did too. As he made his journey back south, Dr. Harper stopped by Bernie's cafe once more for a pie and a cup of tea. Bernie quietly confided that Billy had been her son-in-law and admitted she was closing early because she wasn't feeling up to working. When Harper offered his sympathy and reached for his wallet, Bernie gently refused the payment, insisting that his meal was on the house. Coronation Street airs on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and streams on ITVX.